welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. You'll see a very big smile on my face, and that's because I'm reconnecting with someone who is very special to this show, but also in terms of the South African story and a particular lens that we can look through. Samsung Africa's former president and CEO, Mr. Yoon, has a first-hand witness to the company's remarkable journey to becoming a world-leading brand. And we had a front row seat. And despite countless challenges, he turned Samsung Africa's business into a success with only 4 years to achieve it. And he now shares all of those invaluable insights in his brand new book, The Samsung Man's Path to Success, Turning Crisis into Breakthrough. It gives me a lot of pleasure to welcome once again Mr. Yoon to your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's great to see you.
It is so good to see you, sir, and clearly wearing a very different hat now. It must be a remarkable thing to walk a journey like you have, but then have to put that down into words, into a book. Why did you need to do this? Why was this the time to write this book?
Interesting. You said I was in South Africa 4 years, but I stayed in America 16 years in Samsung, in total 32 years.
Wow, a lifetime,
Yeah, on the day I left South Africa, lots of my colleagues came to see me and said, "Hey, Sung, why don't you share your stories with the people?" So I have never thought about writing a book, and then they said, you have to tell outside of South Africa people that we can do something. Tell our lovely memories and the story about what we achieved. And the more important thing is unimaginable potential of South Africa to the outside of South Africa.
Because often we don't see it. I think because we're so close to it, we don't see the bigger picture. It must be great looking back now, because the trauma of those crises have left you, but you did have to face some major challenges. And I love this, the notion of turning crisis into breakthrough. What were some of the most memorable crises that you encountered? What were some of the toughest times?
Oh gosh, it's difficult to tell, pick one, but my book has slightly over 100 episodes, all about the crisis. But if I pick one, that is something happened when I got first assignment in Samsung Electronics America as a very junior manager. I was in late 30s. So the problem was we shipped the Samsung product monitor. And sold to the Fidelity, which is a global #1 bank. And after 1 year, there was a slightly invisible dot came out, like out of 3,000 units we supplied, and less than 5-7 units returned. When we reviewed it, we thought that's some component issue. So what happened? Big, that's a huge
alarm
risk.
bells.
Yeah. So within a week, that leader, the top management, the CEO's decision, he decided let's replace all of them. $30 million, 2001, R500 million at that time. That's at least 10 times bigger than that.
Yeah.
So he took his risk, right? Based on the performance, profit, everything goes bad, and we thought this is completely disaster.
Failure, yeah.
So, but my position was okay, communication and in the middle, based all the fact. So we replaced all of them in advance. They didn't ask. They were shocked. Why? Why you are they? Well, because we have to build the trust of our product. It ended up few years later, not Fidelity alone, the Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all the Wall Street, the big companies purchased from us.
Major players.
Why? They thought, oh, that company we can trust. So that's the first, yes.
It's crazy, and I think there are so many, after everything we've been through in a global shared experience, that management of risk and being future-proofed is a massive thing. I've always loved the fact that you are so emotionally invested in South Africa and Africa. What have been your major highlights? Is there one moment or a time in your space here in Africa that has stood out for you? I remember you talking about your trip and showing us pictures of Mount Kilimanjaro. That must have been amazing.
Yeah, first thing I realized in South Africa, we have a huge potential, as I said at the beginning. So first kind of challenging when I came over here, first week when I met a couple of my big customers, they said, "Song, I have a request." And I thought some commercial request, a price or funding type of thing. But surprisingly, they asked, "Hey, Song, you need to increase your triple BE level." So I asked, "What's triple BE?" No, I didn't know. And after the meeting, when I realized we cannot exist doing business over here based on all the
that idea, yeah.
Yeah. So I asked, "How can you fix it?" Oh, difficult. But my point is that we have to leave from South Africa. Then we planned and put together, hey, how can you fix it? I worked with my team. Now the position is just like, as I told you, the $30 million decision. I have to make some decision. I did and worked together with our team. Guess what? From level 7, we jumped up to level 1.
Level 1,
yeah,
and you can see the fruits of the labors. I get to work with that team, and they are amazing. I have to ask you to just bear with us because you've obviously shared a lot of screen time with us on this particular show, and I know you've had a few highlights, I'm sure. I know we've made you eat a few interesting things on the show, but I want you to have a look at this, see if this jogs your memory.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Mr. Yoon, President and CEO of Samsung Mobility, to come join me in the kitchen. Mr. Yoon,
hey,
step into our kitchen.
This is a Gatsby.
This is the Gatsby. There's yours.
Okay.
Have you ever had one before?
No, this is first time.
This is the first time.
Every time.
Okay, so I don't know. What's the right way of eating it? Do you have to press it down?
Press it down, make sure nothing falls out, and just go for it.
So press it down, compact it. Make sure yours is compacted. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Oh yes. Okay. Okay. Remove this plate. Here we go. Okay. Give us a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
That's no. Oh, you've been fully South Africanized. I've got to say thank you for being so generous with your time and your spirits, and I think our viewers would say thank you for the amount of phones you gave away on our show. We absolutely love it. But having you here, for a young professional looking to follow in your footsteps, and I would really suggest that they get that book and they get Grania, but what advice do you have for a young professional looking to make their mark in an emerging market with an international company like Samsung, but in an emerging market like here in Africa, like in South Africa? What advice do you have?
Well, my book covers all the experience. Actually, that is more of failure stories. Then, by struggling with all those competitions and challenges, finally we win the competition or race. So for the young generations, right, and the young people in South Africa, I want to tell, when a challenge comes, don't give up, right? Confront without avoiding. If we do something, then the outcome will be completely different from what you are worried about. So do something.
Just act.
Right, act, right, and do every possible thing, and have some confidence. The thing I want to tell, slightly, I mean, it's not, I hope it's not negative. When there is some unexpected challenges come, South Africans slightly easy to avoid without confronting or facing and to overcome it.
Avoid, yeah.
But think about South Korea. When I was born in 1960s, the poorest country in the world next to Haiti.
Wow.
Right? Wow. Same thing, but now we grew up like a G10-ish. It's all that type of spirit. Right? We can do that and focus on education for the young generation and try to do something.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just stand up and do it. And if that involves writing a book, Just do it. We are so proud of you, sir. Thank you so much for coming and joining us and sharing this with the world. We have seen, as I said, from a front row seat, how successful you've been in our market. So thank you for being so invested in South Africa and Africa. We absolutely love you. We wish you could have brought phones with you, but I think this is far more valuable. And I hope that you're going to be able to get into this yourself and get a granular take on Mr. Sung Yoon's incredible journey in the Samsung man's path to success, turning crisis into breakthrough. That's the South African story, and it's available for purchase at all good bookstores nationwide, so go and get your copy. But Mr. Yoon has also very generously, because this is what he does, given us the chance to win a copy. So head over to Expresso's Facebook, our Twitter, or our Instagram page right now and tell us why you would love to read this book, and include that hashtag, the Samsung Man. And entries will close tomorrow at 5 p.m. and all the terms and conditions can be found on expressoshow.com. I think let's get you in the kitchen one more time. Mr. Yoon, go and get your apron on, sir. It's not a Gatsby this morning, but we're going to give him a chance to get back and relive one of those magical espresso moments as only we can in the kitchen.